All right, good morning, traders. Today is June 17th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor, lead moderator here in the BYOB Trading Room. Hey, let's go see how we want to trade SPY today. Let's take a look at some charts from yesterday. Maybe look at how we made some money yesterday. All right, let's go ahead and dig into some of that. Well, we'll do the morning monologue first. All right, so hey, good morning. Today is June 17th, 2025. Thank you for being here. Hey, thank you everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Special shout out to Bob Jordan. Thank you so much for being with me all these years and leaving kind comments. I love that. Thank you so much. All right, my SPY pivot this morning is 601.60. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 are in daily uptrends. FNGB, SPY, and QQQ all made higher lows and higher highs, closing over bullish traps and over their 17 EMAs. IWM, Diamond Dow, made lower highs and lower lows, closing under bearish traps, but over their 17 EMAs. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend. Hey, we like that. Closed with a 10-minute uptrend. We like that. Gold and silver both in daily uptrends. Silver made a higher low and a higher high, closing in a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Let me just say silver's breaking out, okay? If you want to get in on a breakout, I think silver is going to have a nice little move here, okay? I like to look at silver on a 2-day chart, but you can look at it on a daily or a 2-hour, but I think silver's primed up for a breakout here today, or it did started to break out yesterday, so we'll see what happens. So silver made a higher low and a higher high, closing in a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Gold made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. USO still in a daily uptrend. Got that exhaustion move in USO. Made a lower low and a lower high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. UNG made a higher low and a higher high, closing over the bullish cross and over the flat 17 EMA. So UNG making a move. US dollar index in a downtrend. We love that. Not as a consumer, all right, makes a weak dollar, makes our money go less far. All right, but for when it comes to investing, it makes everything cheaper for our American companies or United States companies to compete in the global stage, in the global marketplace, selling goods and services. All right, so we like a cheap dollar because that helps us to be more competitive out there. Okay, when it comes time to convert money. And pay us for the goods and services that we wish to sell. All right, if you've got a strong dollar, what winds up is it costs foreign countries more of their currency to purchase our goods and services, which makes us less competitive. All right, so SPY max pain is 602 with a put to call ratio of about 1.5 puts to each call that expires today. Hey people, look at EYE. I had that starred yesterday. I think this was start all last week, actually. Finally getting the breakout here on EYE. Take a look at that one. All right, let's go take a look at some charts. First chart, 10-minute. Yesterday, you can see the 3 EMA is up on top of the 8 EMA here. So we got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close yesterday. All right, how we made money. Okay, we bought the breakout move right here over the I'm going to tell you over the opening range or the pre-market range of candles. We had a breakout move over the pre-market range. Bought the 10-minute candle right there. Traded the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP up to the top. And then we got a double sword up here, and you can see it's ready to fade. And traded puts all the way back to 601.50 area. Okay, so calls and then puts back to here. All right, so there's SPY. There's that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right, so we traded that yesterday, made some good money on that one. So let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. And we have the 3 EMA still up over, back up over the 8 EMA. So we have SPY on the 2-hour, got a 2-hour uptrend. All right. So what I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP that are inside of 2-hour uptrends over VWAP. All right. I like that are also inside of daily uptrends, that are inside of weekly candles that are moving up or weekly uptrend, all right? That's inside of a monthly uptrend, and all of that over the all-time high anchored VWAP. For me, that's the ultimate setup, okay? These are the opportunities I don't want to miss, okay? There's 10-minute uptrends over VWAP inside of 2-hour uptrends, inside of daily uptrends, inside of weekly candles that are bullish and moving up, inside of a monthly uptrend, all of that over that all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, that's the ultimate setup for me. I love that, and we have it right now. This is opportunity that we have right now, okay? So there's SPY on the 2 hours. Take a look at the daily chart. You can see here we got the 3 EMA up on top of the 8, okay? So that's a bullish trap. See the space between the yellow and the white line? That's a bullish trap. If the yellow line were below the white line, that would be a bearish trap. Okay, we have a bullish trap now. You can see price, higher low, higher high. Okay, closing over the bullish trap and over the 17. That's bullish. Okay, closing up in quadrant 4. Okay, see this is the quad lines. That's bullish. Closing up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. That's the all-time high. So we anchor a anchored VWAP rate to that all-time high. We're up over that. That's bullish. Okay, so all of that is bullish. Then we're making higher lows. So we got a low here. We made a higher low. You can see obviously we're making higher highs. See there's a high. Another higher low. Another higher high. That's uptrend. Okay, you're making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend. Yes, that is bullish. All right. So you can see daily chart is bullish. So you can see right now we've got those 2 hour. We've got that 2-hour uptrend, right? We've got that daily uptrend. This is what I'm talking about. This opportunity. Okay, got those weekly candle, not the uptrend, but hey, look. All right, we're not moving down. Okay, we're moving up. See, this is the origination. Here's the origination. All right, candles aren't moving down this way. They're moving up. All right, so even though we're in a weekly downtrend, because we still haven't taken out that all-time high yet. Okay, inside of a monthly uptrend, notice here's a low. All right, they put in a higher low. They did not make a lower low. Had they made a lower low, they would be in a monthly downtrend, but still in that monthly uptrend. And look, 3 EMA up over that white, 8 EMA up here, so we have a monthly uptrend. All right, and then if we look at this, okay, on the daily chart, you can see price, all of that is over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, I'm telling you, this is the recipe for success, is finding this. This is, for me, this is like the ultimate setup, because you don't get this all the time, all right? All of that over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Look how much time was spent under it, less time over it, okay? So there's daily chart for SPY. So SPY looking good. Let's take a look at the game plan. All right, take a look at it on the 15-minute chart here. Let me move this around just a little bit. Again, pivot, 601.60 above it. I'm a bull, below it. I'm a bear. We are currently below it. All right, I like for options, all right, because I like trading options because options allow me to leverage my capital. All right. It's a two-edged sword, okay? You leverage your capital, you are increasing your risk. All right? Always remember that. Anytime you leverage your capital, you're going to increase your risk, okay? But there's ways of increasing your performance or decreasing your risk by sacrificing a little bit of performance. So let's go into that. I like 3 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5. So they would either be a 605, a 600, a 595, 590. You get the idea. Multiples of 5. 3 days till expiration. Always on a Friday. Friday have more open interest. More open interest means higher liquidity. Higher liquidity means tighter bid-ask spread, less slippage, easier to trade. Okay, so I like Friday options. I also like 10 days till expiration Friday options. Matter of fact, I got a bunch of options for a big rally. Okay, so you can see I've got some 59 DTE calls. I've got some 44 DTE calls. I've got some 640 DTE call. Excuse me, not DTE. Strike. All right. You can see 59 DTE, 44, 38, 31, 24, 16, 13, 10, and 3. Okay. I got a wide variety of calls because I'm bullish. All right. They haven't given me a reason to be bearish yet. All right. So I'm bullish until it's not. It's bullish till it's not. That's the bottom line. Okay. And we're still bullish. All right. So there's no reason for me to abandon those calls. So there's a 15-minute chart. Again, pivot, 601.60. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Right now, we're below it. We have a green erases red event. Okay, so all of this would be red. Okay, see the pullback from the high down to this low. So a green erases red event over 603.75. Okay, looking for a 10-minute uptrend with a green erases red over 603.65. We have a red erases green underneath 600.20. Okay, so that would be red, all right, erasing all of this green right here. That's that 10-minute uptrend that rallied right out of the gate yesterday morning. If we erase all of that, we have a 10-minute, we have a red erases green event right underneath 600.20. Okay, so there's the red erases green and the green erases red. Now, okay, we may trade in between the red erases green and the green erases red numbers. All right, so if I have a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that's breaking away from VWAP, I would be willing to trade a 10-minute uptrend, even, all right, even if it's not the green erases red entry. Okay, I'm also interested in trading the 10-minute downtrend under VWAP. Okay, that's breaking away from VWAP. Okay, in other words, price candles and the 10-minute trap are separating themselves from the brown VWAP line. All right, so I like a 10-minute downtrend that may start up here, preferably like it under the pivot. That would be ideal to catch a 10-minute downtrend that's under the pivot. Same as with a 10-minute uptrend over the pivot. Okay. Other than that, they're probably just pullbacks to the pivot. All right. So there's the SPY game plan for today. Now, let's take a look at the pre-market real quick, and we'll talk about how I'm going to trade SPY. Okay. Let's get the pre-market up there. Got an opening range. All right. Let me take this off just a bit. Okay. So you can see we've got an opening range that is right inside this box here. Okay. So you can see if price is underneath this area right here, okay, that would be a red erases green event right underneath 599.03, or just call it 599, okay? Right underneath 598.95. That would be a red erases green. I would take that entry to the downside. All right. And it's possible they may visit this low, pull back, and then H pattern rollover. We'll see what they want to do. Okay. I'd also take a green erases red up over, okay, right up here, up over 603.21. Okay. So I'm looking for a breakout. If I see a 10-minute, we left off yesterday with a 10-minute uptrend. If we happen to get a 10-minute candle up over VWAP, over the pivot, all right, that's a strong candle. It's not some topping wick candle. I don't want a topping wick candle because, well, so you see currently we have a 10-minute, right here. See, we have a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP in the pre-market right now. All right, so if I got a candle that was green, as long as it's not a topping wick candle, okay, I'd be willing to buy that. All right, I don't want a doji. Doji tells me that bulls and bears agree on the price. I don't want agreement on the price. I want disagreement. All right, I want it where the bulls are dominating and controlling the candles. All right, so I don't want a doji. I don't want a spinning top. I don't want a topping wick because that's going to show me bearish control. All right, anytime you've got a wick that's longer than the body and tail combined, all right, that's showing you that bearish control or bearish domination inside that 10-minute candle. All right, I don't want a red candle because that's going to be obviously bearish. That's the reason it's red, is because it's bearish. All right, so we want a decent green candle. We're particular on which candle we want. Don't want a sword candle. Don't want a doji. Don't want a spinning top. We don't want a topping wick, and we don't want a red candle. All right, and that's to go with this 10-minute uptrend that we're already in right now. Now, whether that 10-minute uptrend is still going to be there 45 minutes from now may not be the case, okay? So if not, and we break below 599, 598.95, that would be my bearish entry on the southern side. And I would look for targets of 595 today down there, all right? So there's SPY on the 10-minute. I've given you my game plan for the morning. All right, you already know about, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP and 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. Got a little stuffed up nose this morning, not feeling that good. All right, but we're doing good. All right, so, excuse me. All right, so QQQ pivot, 532.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green underneath 530.55. Okay, underneath 530.55, we got a red erases green. Guess what? They moved this on me. I don't know how they do it. This seems to be a pattern. Always moving it on me. There it is. So that's where the red line's supposed to be. Okay, so that's the... Come on. All right, so there's red erases green. Pivot, 532.10. Above it, bull, below it, bear. Bullish, green erases red. Okay, 535. Okay, over 535. Again, I like the same expirations on my options. 3 days and 10 days. Friday, I like Friday options, okay? Okay, so when we come into tomorrow, all right, tomorrow will be Wednesday, I will only like 2 days till expiration. Okay, it's all about the Friday. Okay, Friday's the one. Again, on the multiple of 5. 530, 535, 540. You get the idea. Multiples of 5 on Friday. 5 on Friday. Remember that. Okay? I like them $5 to $15 out of the money. All right? Because they offer a little less risk. And for that, I'm willing to give up some performance. Okay? So I like them $5 to $15 out of the money because they offer less risk. All right? They're a little bit cheaper and they're easier to purchase. All right? And I'm not going to get the move that I would on a 0 DTE. All right? A 0 DTE in the money call. You're going to get almost penny for penny performance. All right? A 0 DTE out of the money call, you're going to get a little bit better performance. All right? Not better than 0 DTE in the money. All right? But you're going to get better than 10 days till expiration, $5 to $15 out of the money. Okay? So there's QQQ. I hope I didn't confuse anybody there. If I did, just write a comment in the video description. I'll be happy to come back and explain it on the next video. All right? So there's QQQ. Let's look at it on the daily chart. All right. Okay, got on the wrong one. Here we go. Right there, back to there. Okay. All right, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, that's bullish. Over the uptrend line, that's bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, bullish. Over the up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. You got consolidation on top of prior consolidation, that's bullish. All right, you're making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend, also bullish. Okay, everything bullish there on QQQ. All right, I like that. QQQ, that's bullish as well. FNGB, and we watch FNGB. FNGB has 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in the QQQ and SPY, and therefore we keep a good eye on it because it's capable of moving those two indexes all by itself. All right, regardless of what the other 480 or 490 securities in the S&P 500 are doing, those 10 are so weighted that when they move as a pack, they are capable of moving and dragging, okay, those two indexes, the QQQ and the SPY, with them. All right, so here's FNGB, higher low, higher high, okay, closing over the bullish trap, that's bullish. Over the 17, also bullish. Over the uptrend line, yes, bullish. Quadrant 4, bullish. Consolidation over consolidation, bullish. Okay, up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line. Okay, bullish. Okay, making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend, also bullish. So all of those are bullish environments. Okay, so we want to look for a bullish trade, not counter trend. We want to look for bullish trades. Okay, they're more likely to work out. They're more likely to have a higher win rate. They're more likely to go further. They're more likely to last longer. Okay, so that's why we like, because we're in a bullish environment. It's easier to trade a bullish strategy. In other words, a 10-minute uptrend inside a 2-hour uptrend over the pivot. Okay. Those are that's a bullish strategy. Okay, it's more likely to win than a counter trade. Okay, look, if you played counter trade, look at, they don't go very far. Okay, not very far at all. Okay, so looking for bullish strategies. All right, there's a daily chart. Okay, that's bullish, uptrend. Okay, in case you didn't know it, it's looking good. IWM. All right, IWM. Higher low, higher high, closing under bearish trap, but over the 17 EMA. Over the 17 is bullish. Under the uptrend line is kind of neutral. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP is bullish. Sorry if I got disconnected, but I'll have the recording up there, okay? Price action you can see over that all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, you get price moving up, holding the higher ground, and consolidation breakout up there. Okay. Sorry if we lose connection, but I will have a copy of the recording later in the right up there in the alerts. Okay. So there's IWM. Okay. Closing right up here over the midpoint. That's bullish. Over the consolidation. That's bullish. So there's IWM on the daily chart. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow got a higher low and a higher high, closing, okay, under a bearish trap, but over the 17. Okay, over the 17 is bullish. Okay, we're up here in the upper third. That's bullish. Okay, we're up over the pink line. That's the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Okay, we're under this uptrend line. Okay, but nothing's to say that that's where it has to go. It may have to swing out a little bit. Okay, we'll see what happens. All right, and then again, price may recover. All right, so we'll see what happens. We're under the uptrend line. That's kind of neutral. All right, remember, we're in that upper third. That's bullish. Okay, notice price action here is moving up and is currently. Okay, it's moving up and it's holding the higher ground up here. Okay, that is a bullish environment. Okay, anytime you go up and you give it up, that's neutral. Okay, but when you look at price structure, and it's not just one candle, you look at them as a group. What is it doing and how well is it doing it? Like my friend Malcolm would say, price moves up and then moves over. That is a bullish environment. Okay, that is a bull flag. That is holding the higher ground. Okay, like it when it does that. Okay, I don't like it when it goes up and just gives it up. Okay, they're not doing that anymore. Notice they went down and they gave it up. Okay, so that's neutral. Same thing, you go up, you give it up, that's neutral. Okay, so that's neutral. This is bullish right there. Okay, that's bullish when they move up and they hold the higher ground. See how long they're holding that higher ground? Multiple weeks there, okay? All the way from probably second week in May. Okay, now we're in the second week in June, third week in June, okay? They're holding the higher ground. That is a bullish structure. That's a bullish environment, okay? So look for those uptrends. They're more likely to work than the downtrends. All right, let's take a look at our technicals, T2122. Yesterday we zipped out of here, landed, all right, in the buy zone, made our appearance in the overbought zone, bears threw us out, wound up consolidating here in the buyer's chop zone. Okay, so we'll see what happens today. Okay, we made a higher low. All right, with that higher low, what did we produce? A higher high. See, there's a high, there's a high. We made a higher high. Okay, so now we got another higher low here. It's possible, we'll see, that we make a higher high, or they can continue to consolidate all the way back down and test the lows. We'll see what happens. So there's T2122 on the 15-minute chart. We'll see what they want to do, okay? Got a higher low. Hopefully that is the low and they're not going to continue to melt off. Okay, T2123. All right, bullish gap up that's not filled by the bears. Hey, that's a bullish clue right there. Anytime you see bullish gap up not filled by the bears. Here's one. Okay, another one right there. Okay, another bullish gap not filled by the bears. That's a bullish environment. Another bullish gap not filled by the bears. Okay, zoom out a little bit. Another bullish gap not filled by the bears. Okay, see right here, another one and another one. Okay, all of this is a bullish environment. Anytime you see price move up, hold the higher ground, that's bullish. Move up, hold the higher ground, that's bullish. Move up, hold the higher ground, that's bullish. Okay, you get consolidation over prior consolidation. That is a bullish environment. Okay, anytime you're up over the 200 SMA, also bullish as long as you're moving up. Okay, also a bullish environment. T2123 on the 15-minute chart. Notice the higher lows and the higher highs. It's in an uptrend. Notice the price structure, okay, is moving up and holding the higher ground. That is a bullish environment. That's what we like to see. Okay, we're up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. I'm going to back way out here so you can see a bigger picture. Okay, we're up over this prior all-time high. You can see right here, if we box this off, okay, we've got consolidation over prior consolidation. That's a bullish environment. Up over the 200 SMA, bullish environment. Look at it from a bigger picture, okay? Price moves up, all right? Holds the higher ground. Price moves up, holds the higher ground. All of that is bullish, okay? And we're in an uptrend. Look at the size of this gap. Still hasn't been filled by the bears right there, okay? That's a clue when you see that, okay? This is bullish, all right? It's showing you. It's bullish till it's not, okay? That's just the way it is. T2123. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. Okay, it's the same product, just looking at it on a different time frame. So it's going to have the same look, all right? It's going to have the same results, okay? Notice we're not making any higher lows, but here's the good news. There's a high right here, and we're making a higher high. Notice we're up here. Okay, if we look over here, okay, price action moves up, holds the higher ground, moves up, holds the higher ground. That's bullish. We're up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. Okay, anytime you're up over the 200 SMA and moving up, that's bullish. All right, so there we go with T2123 3 bar, making higher highs. See right there, we didn't make any higher lows, but you can see we're making a higher high. That's bullish. That's an uptrend, okay, because we're making a higher high. And we may make a higher low later on, okay, but right now we're making a higher high. I'll take it. I would have loved to see a higher low and a higher high, but they couldn't do it. So what? They made a higher high. I'm pleased with that. Okay, again, we're up over that 200 SMA. On the daily chart, a little bit different here, okay? Daily chart is not in an uptrend yet, okay, because the first one you come to, all right, that's a green. See the green? All right, that would be the first peak. That would be the high. Okay, so we got to break that high right there. So in order to do that, we got to get through this prior all-time high, this flat 200, and this consolidation. Okay, if we can get through all of that, we will negate the daily downtrend. Right now, we're currently in a daily downtrend because we haven't made a higher high. But here's the good news. Okay, we're not moving down. We're in a daily downtrend technically, but we're not moving down. All right, so again, it's just a label. What is price doing and how well is it doing it, right? It's moving up. It's in a downtrend. It's just a label, but it's not moving down. It's moving up. We like that, okay? So there's T2123 daily chart. I'm going to move this back to the 3 bar. Let's hit the FNGB. All right, you can see FNGB. This would be Friday. It was the 16th. Bullish gap up. Oh, my God. We love that. Okay, that's a bullish environment. Anytime the bears don't fill a bullish gap, that's a bullish environment. Look at the bearish gap. Got filled by the bulls. Okay, showing you strength on the bulls part. Okay, price action moves up, holds the higher ground. Look, bullied from beginning of the day to the end of the day here on FNGB, up over, back up over this 200 SMA. Like I said, anytime that price is moving up or sideways over the 200 SMA, that's bullish. Okay, as long as it came from a lower position. Okay, again, you can see price action moves up and holds the higher ground. That's bullish. All right, let's back out a little bit more. All right, and you're going to see consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, so here's consolidation. Okay, up over prior consolidation. Consolidation on top of consolidation, okay, is bullish. See this? Bullish, bullish, bullish. Gap up, not filled by the bears. That's bullish. Another gap up, not filled by the bears. Bullish. Another gap up, not filled by the bears. Bullish. Okay, all of these are clues. All right, look for the uptrends. All right, look at price up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Up over the uptrend line. That's also bullish. Let's take a look at a few sectors. Then we'll visit the economic package. All right, start off with what do I want here? I want this one, and let's look at the XLE. All right, here's our energy sector, and what do we have? Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap. That's definitely bullish over the 17, bullish over downtrend line 1 and downtrend line 2. That's bullish. Knocking on the door of the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's definitely signs of bullishness. It's definitely better than neutral bullish. You know what I'm saying? Okay, not quite bullish, but better than neutral. That's for sure. XLE. Okay, we're up over the midpoint. That's on the bullish side of neutrality there. We're making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend. That's always bullish when you're in an uptrend. Okay, so XLE, not quite in the upper third. Okay, not quite in the lower third. All right, so we're just neutral through here. Okay, just neutral right now. Okay, Again, they moved down and they gave it up. That's neutral. Okay, they moved down and gave it up. Okay, now if they give it up and more, that will be bullish. All right, so they're almost getting to that point of more. They're just not there yet. So there's XLE. All right, it's looking good. Finally getting some juice. Took it 4 months, 3 months to get going. April, May, June, coming into July now. It's finally getting ready. All right. All right. All right. I'm back here. Let me just refresh this for the room. I'm going to refresh this. Bear with me. Bear with me, just fixing this for the room. And the room got knocked off by a disconnected internet or an internet break in our internet line. So let's see what we get here. Give me just a second. Let me move this back for them. Having some troubles today. Disconnected again. Let me just pause this. All right, I'm back. All right, I just had to fix the room got knocked offline, so I had to fix the microphone and the screen, what I was projecting to the room. So, because I do this live in front of the room. All right, and then I record it for everybody out there in digital land and podcast land. Okay, so there's some XLE. Okay, that's bullish. It's acting bullish. It's just neutral right now. All right, because again, they go down and they give it up. Okay, if they happen to give it up and more, that would be bullish. So right now, just neutral. Notice they're not in the upper third. They're not in the lower third. Okay, but acting kind of bullish right now. Hope that's not an exhaustion move. Let's take a look at USO, and USO looks like an exhaustion move. All right, look at this. Wow, nice rip up there. Okay, it's what happens when war breaks out. All right, so price action. Okay, that was Friday. This is Monday. Lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17. That's bullish. Up here in quadrant 4, definitely bullish. Over the downtrend line, that's bullish. Over this 3-year high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. Okay, and price action making higher lows and higher highs, that's bullish. Just want to say, I said this yesterday, that looks like an exhaustion move. We'll see what happens. Wait for, hopefully price structure can hold the higher ground up here. That will be a big clue if they can hold that higher ground. We'll see. Give them time, give them space to see if they can hold that higher ground. Do like that. That is bullish. Up over the upper third, definitely, quadrant 4. Over the downtrend line, over the 3-year high anchored VWAP, again, over the trap, and over the 17. Big move there on USO. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG yesterday got a higher low and a higher high. Nice work there. Closing over a bullish cross, that's bullish. Over the 17, that's bullish. Over this 12-month high anchored VWAP, not a very big high bar set there, but they're on the other side of that. They're on the other side of the downtrend line. Okay, but they haven't made any higher highs yet. Okay, not like USO. USO made higher highs and higher lows. UNG has not made a higher high yet. Okay, but if they happen to take out the top of that wick right up there, okay, they will now have a cheesy uptrend. All right. In other words, it's not a very high bar to set. Okay, all right, because it's just that it's going to be that cheesy. All right, because it's not a big difficult task. Be something to take out, like maybe that high or that high or that high. Okay. This one, they just waited 5 months, 4 months, okay, for them to make a lower high so that they can get on top of it, okay? It's like beating the kids at checkers, okay? It's no big deal, all right? So, but if they get on top of that, they will negate the downtrend and have an uptrend. Currently over this uptrend, on the backside of this downtrend, again up over this 12-month high anchored VWAP. You can see that 12-month high. See what I'm saying? It's a really low bar. You can see there's the all-time high way up here, 138. I think this one originates at probably 38.026. Okay, so not a very high bar to set. Like I said, it's like beating the kids at checkers. Okay, it's not that hard, not that difficult. UNG. Okay, all right, still in a downtrend. Okay, and just moving over to the right. If you look at this, it's a bear flag. All right, right now I see a bear flag. Okay, price moves down and over to the right. That's a bear flag. That's a bearish environment. Okay, so we'll take a look at this. You can see we're no longer in the lower third, so we're not bearish. We're just kind of neutral. All right, just neutral right here. All right, but let me just say, a few days ago, we were in the lower third down here, and that was bearish. Okay, so there's UNG trying to pull a bullish move right now. All right, it's currently showing a head and shoulders pattern, that being the head, left shoulder, and that would be the right shoulder. Okay, so there's UNGs. Take a look at SMH. SMH is bullish up in quadrant 4. You can see it's closing over the trap. Everything bullish there, SMH. Okay, XLK, new all-time high. Okay, anytime something makes a new all-time high, nothing else needs to be said. Just drop the mic. All right, it's a new all-time high. It doesn't get any better than that. New all-time high yesterday, XLK. Let's take a look at XLF. All right, XLF, higher low, higher high, closing in a bearish trap, but under the 17. Okay, that's kind of neutral up here in quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 is bullish, up over that all-time high anchored VWAP. Got a little failure here to make the higher high. Okay, so looking like we're consolidating over to the right. Again, you can see price structure. Okay, price structure is moving up. Get the line. Get the line. Moving up, holding the higher ground. That's bullish. Okay, moving up, holding the higher ground. But looking at it recently, we failed to make a higher high right there. We're still in an uptrend because we haven't made a lower low, but we're still in an uptrend. Okay, and we are still holding the higher ground. So that's bullish, XLF. All right, let's take a look at, thank you, Alan. Let's take a look at IYT. Here we are with IYT. Again, price action kind of doing the same thing, not that impressive. Moving up and holding the higher ground. Okay, that's bullish. Kind of a sloppy hold right there. It's been going on for a month and a half. Okay, having some difficulty holding the higher ground over the all-time high anchored VWAP. You can see we passed through this uptrend line. We're on the other side of it now, but having some difficulty holding up there over the midpoint. Okay, not in the upper third. Okay, notice we're not in the upper third, which would be up here. Okay, we're not in the upper third, and we're not in the lower third, so we're just kind of neutral. Again, okay, price moves down and moves back and gives it up. That's just neutral. You give it up and more, that's bullish. Okay, they didn't give it up and more yet. Okay, they got close, but not close enough. All right, so there's the transports. So we got financials are in an uptrend, and we got technology in an uptrend. We got semiconductors in an uptrend, and this is the laggard right here. We need this one. This one shows us that this is the transports. This shows us that products are being sold off the shelf and restocked. Okay, goods and services. In other words, we're moving stuff around the country like cranes. All right, cranes don't come in like they just drive it down there and put it to work. It comes in pieces, and you have to have professionals put it together so it doesn't fall apart on anybody, okay? All right, so you got professionals moving heavy equipment around the country to get the job done, to get the productivity going, all right? To get the get the big projects done, okay? Big projects or something like an Amazon warehouse, that's a big project, okay? A nuclear facility, that's a big project, okay? Those are big projects. Shopping mall, that's a big project, okay? All of those are big projects. Bridges, big project. Super scraper or skyscrapers, okay? Those are big projects, okay? And for that you need trained personnel moving around the country. Sometimes you got professionals moving from Texas, maybe over to Arizona to help them with drilling wells, okay? That's when you see the transports kind of show some bullish activity. Right now they're showing some, okay? We're just not kicking it into high gear up here in the bullish side. We are holding the higher ground. That is a bullish structure. I'm looking forward to that next leg up. Okay, that's IYT. Thanks, Ed. All right, let's take a look at the economic package and let's wrap this up.
Hey, good morning and happy Tuesday to everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hey, quick reminder that Wednesday, tomorrow, we're moving our members' e-learning up a day because Thursday's a holiday.
602 is max pay. 1.5 put for each call today. Okay,
our members' holiday.
Squeeze.
Our members' holiday.
On the dollar.
Yeah, it'll be a members' holiday.
We're
going to have a
right
webinar.
Near,
we're going to be talking about sectors. So I hope everyone can join us.
Still in a downtrend.
For those that don't know, my name is Rick. Clicking a few things off right here.
That major support now offers minor resistance.
I want to remind everybody, this is important, okay? June 24th, 2025. Yep, this year. Yep, this month, toward the end of the month. Starting at 8:45 in the morning, just like right now. We're going to have an open house with hit and run candlesticks. I am going to be your host. That's me right there. A whole lot younger, but that's me. And,
Thursday we're off, so we're going to get a petroleum report at 10:30 tomorrow.
You can
gas report.
Look for this image on our social media. We'll send it out email. I don't think we've done it yet, but it is on social media.
Jobless claims at 8:30.
Click on that link and register, okay? Maybe we'll have some surprises for those that are there in the room.
Again, petroleum report at 10:30.
June 24th.
The main event this week is
8:45 is when we start. You don't have to be there all day. You can pop in and out if you'd like.
But we
ask
still
lots of questions
have
and
not
learn
wrapped up our
what you
trade
can.
deal, so I don't know what this is going to be about.
One more thing I want to talk about, and this is for today.
Nothing but
this is for today. For members of Hit and Run Candlesticks, we have a very special guest this afternoon
until trade deals
at
are
noon
wrapped
Eastern
up
today.
and
That's 12 p.m.
And now we're in the middle
for those
of
that are not sure what time noon is.
We're not in them, but other people, other key players are in conflicts.
He's our room guru
there,
on Ichimoku
around the world.
Cloud.
All right, so which doesn't help make trade deals
noon today, 12 p.m. Eastern, right here in the Hit and Run Candlesticks trading room.
Anytime you have conflict
it'll
going
go for
on,
probably 45 minutes to an hour, probably not much more than that.
So you can't get a trade deal done.
I would love to have everybody in the room. Make sure you ask lots of questions, okay? So 12
so you can get a trade deal done.
All right, let's talk about this market, right?
We don't have it yet. We still
I want to do this. I took a picture, snapshot of some news that popped up this morning. Retail sales fell 0.9% in May, worse than expected as consumers pulled back.
And I can't see them doing anything until we know what
every day there's
we're going to get for tariffs.
Okay? Every day there's something good.
So he's going to defend whatever he says
bad.
Or whatever the decision is made.
Welcome to life.
2 o'clock.
Every day, outside of the market, every day there is something good that happens and something that's tragic that happens.
Right, that's it for me. I'll see you guys.
The stock market is no different.
30 minutes, right? We'll open up the market.
And news is always going to print